Greetings and welcome to the People's Ascension for the after show for episode 3 of our Creeping Tangle demo play miniseries for Heroic Chord. Once again, an amazing episode that we just had. A lot happened. Somehow we keep finding ways to cram so much into our little 4 hour playtime.
Yeah.
4 hours for 4 weeks, and we still seem to get so much done, which is fantastic. Before we get to any of that, this is probably going to be a shorter after show, which is good because we went a little long previously because there's just so much to talk about. A little bit shorter. I got places to be. Cat got places to be, and just to keep things a little shorter. So first and foremost, thank you for being supporters. It means so much to me and so much to the channel. It is the best way to ensure that we keep doing what we're doing here at the People's Ascension, most notably RPGs Uncovered, because there is definitely some financial concerns when it maybe not considerations is what I meant. Financial considerations for doing these things, buying games. Buy it. I'd love to get character art because I think that really helps with engagement. Getting music because I like having music and background ambiance and stuff like that. So any support that you give goes right back into the channel itself to improve the quality and quantity of things that we do. So I'd love to continue doing more series. Of course, I have more series coming up and more whip workshop features, but if possible I would love to be able to do things like multiple games or invite other GMs on to make this sort of a network to do multiple games throughout the week. And of course, it's always been my intention to pay the cast members for their time and for their incredible work here, but for that we need people, actually actively, monetarily supporting the show to be able to pay people. So that is the priorities for any support that comes in through our support channels. And for that, we get to give you our random ramblings and tinfoil hat polishing and things like player and GM insights. So go check out the character sheets, go check out the crises that I posted, go check out information on discovery inspiration, and stay tuned for some mod secrets that are going to be dropping. Probably not this week because there's still a lot more to mod that we've yet to see, but next week once we wrapped up, yeah, I'm gonna have some things to drop. But for now, let's get on to memory time.
And breathe.
Yay, memory time.
Yay!
So this is something that that is actually in the rule book, encouraged in the rules to have memory time, and this is something that you've done in your own personal games, Cat, for a while, as your own recap. Just simply sharing memories, your favorite memories of the things you and each other did throughout the episode, and it's a great way to remind everybody of what just happened, do a sort of post cap, and boost everybody up. So who has some fun memories from this game?
I remember.
Hopefully all of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorting through my
As
memories.
Maud would say, remember, remember.
Yeah.
For me,
I,
it once again, like it always comes back to the role play from you two.
aw.
Like with Marius at the bottom of the well, just babbling
I
to
love that.
essentially a corpse, and then Callus up top, just like slapping bandages on people and then insulting them,
Oh.
like just the whole thing
What, you're gonna
was
cry? You're gonna
incredible.
I just pat you up. Get out of here.
Cranking
I
Dr.
loved that.
Kalos was beautiful. I loved that very much.
I mean, I was like, I'll take those edge successes. It'll be funny. I also do like the whole thing that happened. Like, I like Doyle going down. I like that it broke. I like that he just passes out at the bar.
A full team of almost entirely scattered, almost entirely HP depleted party just
Yeah,
recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
it was just so good because like then it was like, do you hear? And then like the person who has like the most sensitivity is Kalos, and she's like, yeah, I don't give a what the fuck, I don't give a shit about that. And then just being like, where did Doyle go? And we're like, oh.
Yeah.
He obviously went somewhere, which means he's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
I think that entire first half of just like the three of us being a mess
Uh-huh.
was very fun.
Sometimes that is like the best way to role play things, and
Yeah.
I think that playing in this game and playing specifically Heroic Chord, it's encouraged me to role play a little bit differently in some of the other games I'm in. Like I've been in a long running 5e campaign that my buddy is running, and my character just spent 10 days being dead, and they got me back to where I needed to be just in time to get resurrected one more day, and it would have been roll a new character. And so I played the character like he had just spent 10 days not being alive. Suddenly his sentence structure was all jumbled. He was stumbling. He was, having trouble with fine motor function because his body hadn't moved. And, I'm thinking about role play in different ways
Mhm.
because of playing in this game, because those are
Yay.
all things that would absolutely make sense for a character that spent some time without any electrical impulses going through their brain or their muscles. And 10 days of muscle atrophy will definitely affect your coordination, and things like that shouldn't necessarily be treated as things to avoid.
Mhm.
It's the point of the game isn't necessarily to always be the most awesome character that you can be. Sometimes it's to play out the scenario the way it would go.
Mhm.
And
And
I think I've been doing better at role play in other settings because of playing in this.
that's the best part of playing new games in my mind. If you play one game with the same people the same way all the time, nothing changes. But you play other games and you get drastically different perspectives because each game directs you along how you interact with the game differently depending on the mechanics it uses. And I love that
Mhm.
Heroic Chord codifies in the mechanics being aware of and actively working with the flaws that your characters have and develop. And it encourages the great role play because I think it's narrative gold when you have negatives that your characters can role play and not just always awesome, fully put together, super heroic people. It's nice seeing real people, real interactions, real concerns, and you guys have done a great job with all of that.
Yay! Yay! Let's see. I'm very excited to go to a maze because that's my season 1 ability.
Mm-hmm.
My season 1 ability is I'm immune to maze. So I'm very excited to go be immune to a maze.
Yeah, I made sure to look at all of your character sheets and plan out how to try to get everything I can in there. Somehow, I know I originally noted it, and my original idea for this particular episode was a little bit different. But since the prior episode was so combat heavy, I got a stroke of inspiration, a little bit GM insight here. After that episode, and I thought, instead of just fighting horrors, fighting aspects of the past, let's make this a three-sided battle and turn it into a kind of social encounter and get some more redirect going. Uh, and
I
then
really like that.
when you, I think it went great. I think it went great. And then when you guys pointed out, because of that discovery roll, when you came across the smaller ruins and the other horror, and we got two people that are like, I kill horrors for fun and profit. I'm like, oh no. How is this going to affect the big crisis? But you
Yeah.
guys put that aside because I was looking at and I'm like, okay, you guys are going out of your way to cut down some horrors that are really kind of inconsequential. So you're probably going to want to fight these big bad scary horrors, and that has a destroy of 8. That's going to be real difficult. So I'm glad you guys reassessed and found meaningful reasons to reassess. It wasn't just this is easier, let's go that route. You found meaningful reasons to reassess how you would approach the problem.
Yeah, and I think like you dropped a very distinct hint to that end as well with the horror that snuck up on Marius,
Mm-hmm.
whispering the same thing the commander did. So I think like diegetically it's very like, oh, okay, maybe horrors being memories of trauma and suffering might have their own kind of unfinished business with regards to things like the tangle. And I thought that was very neat.
Mm-hmm.
I also loved that we went into that fight just like, you know what? We have 11 in our pool. Let's not touch it. Let's not
Yeah.
touch
Yeah.
any of it. Let's cast huge spells from our own hearts and feelings
Mm-hmm.
and not pay any money because we don't know what's going to happen. And this one is scary to us. And
And
it
after
might
I
derail
walloped you
us.
during the last crisis, yeah.
Yeah. And we did take a bit of a battering.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The boy almost got turned into nap time again.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I think going back, I would probably. There's an ability I would have to change, but I'm gonna leave that for the GM tier of patrons, the hero tier of patrons. But I think going back, if I were to do this again, I would have given this crisis one more big HP drain wallop ability.
There's the big hitty.
Yeah, yeah. Because most of the detriments you took upon yourselves, choosing to scatter yourselves halfway to max from the start. And it was of course always intended that you throw yourself in front of a few chilling melees, but I don't feel like there was a lot of narrative tension in this crisis, but I don't think there was as much mechanical tension as there was in the last one, knowing that a big wallop was going to come, and you might have to soak like 4 or 6 damage or something.
Yeah.
I think I might do, if I were to do this again, if I were to run this again, I'd give it a bigger HP wallop.
That
Little
would have
GM
been
insight.
mean to do.
Yeah.
That would have been mean to do. That would have hurt.
Yeah.
That would have hurt us,
Yeah.
and that would have made us sad.
Mm-hmm.
I am excited to meet our new friends.
Oh yeah, the Ghost Commander. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, the
That's gonna
alive
be fun.
friends.
Oh, and the
Those two.
Archaeologist. Yeah, those two. Yeah.
We made friends.
Mm-hmm. You guys have been good at rescuing people. Saved a whole town. Saved I don't think none of the archaeologists were killed there. You guys managed to throw yourselves in front of all of that damage.
Mostly Marius.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know when you were like Marius has 8 damage. I was like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
You need to stop. You need to stop now. This is an intervention.
Yeah, Marius is at 8, Doyle's at 6, and we're just like, let's limp along here. Let's hope we can finish this next round.
Cal's at like just like I only took 2 damage. Aha. I was like, yep, there we go.
Yep.
Oh, Kalos.
Yeah, I had something to follow up on that, but
Is it hat time? Is it hat time now?
The tinfoil
Oh,
hat. You
the
got
tinfoil
you got
hat
theories to
polishing.
the
Yeah.
bursting at the seams.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, if you guys have theories, throw them at me.
We will defeat it with the power of love and friendship.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, yeah. That's less a tinfoil hat and more just an inevitability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say we're gonna do a chord at the end, right? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
our final advancement should be through a chord.
I just gotta find some way to be awestruck at some point during this maze so that I can get that wonder checked off.
Maybe you can be like wondered by like how seamless Marius is, like just going through it, like because Marius can't get lost.
Yeah, that could be it. That could be it. We'll see.
I'm very
Gotta tie it
excited.
into a skill somehow, though. I can't just be wondrous at stuff.
I
But, you know.
I think there will be ample opportunity for wondrous things to happen.
Okay, that's
I'm
good.
really excited to use my last key piece because the one I haven't used yet is devotion.
Oh, that's really nice.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I hope that I get an opportunity to do a great big dramatic help of my beloved friends.
Oh, yeah. I'll figure out how honesty is gonna come out. But
Yeah.
So Maud shook the hand at the end there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maud did touch the hand of the dead friend.
I have concerns about Mod, speaking of tinfoil hats.
You had
Yeah.
concerns last week.
Yeah, and they have been reinforced by me saying I think Maud is going to steal the power of this thing, and then she took the heart and stole the power of this thing.
Yeah, and I was like,
And now she's shaking hands with the dead commander, and I'm just like, oh, she's gonna steal his power too. She probably
Oh,
won't. She
is it that
probably won't,
commander the
but like
heart?
still.
I have something that I would like to discuss regarding hats.
Okay.
Regarding hat time. And this is something that Kat knows and that Donna and Pat know, but that the boy and his friends don't know.
Okay.
Is that Maud is, according to our GM, an arcanist. Where is Maud's familiar? What is Maud's familiar?
Mod's familiar is the Mamma Mia.
Yeah, see.
I don't know if I would go as far as to guess that it's the tangle, but where is it?
See, this is what I mean. There are concerns about Maud. Legitimate concerns about Maud. Maud is gonna turn out to be the real big bad, or an ominous presence that will be forever in the lore
Oh yeah,
that can
Maud's
be
an ominous
used as a
presence for
big bad.
sure. Maud's
Yeah.
extremely ominous. I think that for good or for ill, Maud is correct. Like is ominous. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love that about them. To be frank, I
I
like,
They're
mm,
I think
they're
it's very fun.
suspicious.
I was
Yeah.
gonna make a comparison, but I'm not sure if any of my players are in your subscription tier, so I'm gonna hold off on that. But
Well, you can
Yeah.
make the comparison, and then you can tell them to support,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
because this isn't
So
live anyway.
one of the plot points coming up is similar in that my players have been being followed by a surly chickadee that can talk, and they are trying desperately to get it to be their friend, but what they don't know is that it is in fact the big bad in disguise, and they just led it directly to its goal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Love it.
Oh,
Love it.
cruel.
It's like my players like to be suspicious, so we have a character who Nick has described as having Dark Souls NPC energy,
Mm.
Yeah.
and she genuinely is just a cheerful party animal. Like genuinely, she's a very good fist fighter, but she's mostly a party animal. And the whole time the party's like, "What's your deal?" And her deal is she just wants to party. So I've got
So like
like,
the opposite.
yeah, I like a character who is interpreted as ominous despite being
Mm-hmm.
completely harmless.
Mm-hmm.
I think is something that I enjoy a great deal.
Yeah.
It's something I find very fun.
You have players
So,
who like to be suspicious. I like to make my players suspicious.
yeah. Oh, my
Mm.
players love to be suspicious, which is hilarious because it's sort of symphonies, and we don't. We have in the most recent arc had our first ever human antagonist after running
Ooh.
for 2 seasons.
Hmm.
So you'd think they would realize that I want them to be nice to people and trust people.
Oh, I know I've played a lot with a naturally non-suspicious group of people, and the amount of things I pulled over on them.
Yeah. My problem is that my players are suspicious of the wrong things.
Mhm. They always are.
I put an NPC just coincidentally on a map that had a crossroads on it.
Oh no.
And this was an important quest giving NPC, and they saw that he was standing in a crossroads and wouldn't even speak to him.
He's obviously the devil.
I was just like,
Same.
no, he was the guy with the map to your next destination.
Yeah, the
but-
map straight to hell. He's obviously the devil.
That is where you put a devil.
Yeah, because then there's like
Have you
whatever
not watched
choice you make,
Supernatural?
you're making a deal with the devil for real.
I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, he's not a good character, and he does make deals, but like that was coincidental to the crossroads thing. It just I threw a random map in, and I didn't think about it,
Yep.
and you know.
No, that's great. That's great.
I am so sorry, gang, but the timing has gone terribly, and I need to go obtain my food.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Are you coming back, or should we call it here?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I just need to run down
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
sure. No
front
problem.
lobby.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back. Sorry,
Cool.
everybody.
Not a problem. Okay. Pat, Donna, do you have any cool highlights?
I mean, you know, obviously the reveal of the maze with the face coming out of the tangle and all that, that was incredible. I'm really excited for next session.
Not at all concerned that I overhyped that.
Oh, don't worry about that. We've had fun every step of the way. I'm sure that you the right amount hyped that.
Sure.
Yes,
Sure.
I agree. I just like everybody's like abilities. I don't know. I think I'm like with Pat, where it's just like I'm just happy to like. It's just awesome like playing this game with y'all, and then I'm just like hee hee, like just vibing. Sometimes it's just nice to like vibe and like soak in what y'all are like doing. I think it's just like hilarious.
Yeah.
I think it's
And
like this session in particular was like really good with the right level of like role playing, comedy, seriousness, attack, blah blah blah. Like it had like everything, every
Yeah.
element.
I'm super happy with this episode. I was really hoping that you guys were going to really roll with the role play for this, because I made a decision not to pre-plan any big moments with discovery rolls. I did have a few things I was going to draw out a little bit more on your travel northward, but I think it actually helped the story making that a little bit more succinct the way we did it, especially given how front loaded we were with discovery and investigation and conversation, all that great role play. So I think that, as you said, perfect balance between all the different pillars for this particular episode.
and I kind of feel that way about this entire group in general. Like we have done a pretty good job of keeping things moving while still taking the time to enjoy the role play.
Yeah.
We don't get bogged down in too much nonsense. And at the same time, we're not just murder hoboing our way across the lands,
Yeah.
Like it's a good balance, and that's refreshing to see.
I think it's definitely built into this game to discourage murder hoboing, because
Yes.
combat
Yeah.
is a whole thing you have to go through with crisis resolution. You can't just like going after those horrors in the ruins. I was like, yeah, we're just gonna make this like one or two real quick skill checks and make it narrative based, because it really doesn't make sense for smaller scale like full crisis resolution. And I think that really worked out. I'm really glad that it was Marius, right, who rolled the understanding discovery roll. I'm
Yeah.
really glad that Kat did that, because I didn't have that prepared. That was entirely improv, just basing off of what I knew what was coming going forward. But I really liked how that went down, and I will just have to say again, destroying that artifact, destroying that wall, that ruin, that stele. Oh, that hurts.
That I was so glad that Doyle did not go with them, because Doyle would have been heartbroken.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, first off, I took the deal because I
But
was like,
I'm so glad you took that shot.
I was
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
I think Callus would have 100% been like, yeah, of course I'm gonna choose like Marius
Yeah.
over like, but also like knowing how important and how much they value it. That's why I was like trying to hint at like,
Yeah.
are you mad? And like, I don't know how that happened, but if I did know and I knew who did it, would you be mad at that person?
Mm-hmm.
Just like the like all the ways to basically be like, I'm really sorry that happened, but
Mm-hmm.
also like, are you really mad about it?
Yeah, that was a great little conversation.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I like that we had to focus more on like social this combat too, because
Yeah.
I saw a lot of ways to do destroy, and I was like, it's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to hit all the marks. I know the first crisis was a lot more investigative. It obviously was social. It could have gone down the Outlast route as well, but I believe you did go down the redirect route there as well. But it was very different from the way you went down the redirect route this time. That was more investigative and inspirational and directing a stream of consciousness, where this was really, trying to convince one of two armies that you should work together.
We should be best friends.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think the combination of magic and like actual social convincing and the role play associated with those roles was great, and all the things you had to do to support that, because it wasn't just we're gonna roll redirect 5 times. You had to push through destroy to help protect people so you could take hits. Um you had to advance the advantage pool a few times because that kept getting eaten away. So I really enjoyed. It wasn't as, like I said before, I don't think it was as dangerously suspenseful as I would have liked, but it was still very narratively suspenseful and narratively engaging. Does that track with you guys?
It
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
I feel like I felt like I was more in danger this time than I did last time.
Oh,
Um, but I think that's just because I was looking at my spell list at like struggling to come up with a way to redirect using these. And
mm-hmm.
that's strange to me because I mainly picked them thinking, okay, I'll mostly be using these for redirect or outlast. And I'm like, no, I feel like I mostly have like outlast and destroy. But
Hmm.
that could just be because, you're also somewhat limited by what the environmental
Right.
pieces are and, trying to think of specific ways for this specific scenario, I think uh was part of what hindered me. But I felt like I was less prepared for this.
Hmm.
Felt like I had fewer options.
Hmm. Interesting.
But again, I think that might be my own limitation rather than
With the
anything else.
game so based around creatively using keywords, I think it really comes down to your own perspective at the time and your own state of mind at the time.
Yeah.
Because I think if you go back, like if you take a look at these in a couple days, and in hindsight, you're going to be like, oh, this would have made a great redirect power. But if
Yep.
you're not thinking that way at the moment, yeah, I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
Um, Oh, while you were gone, Kat, we briefly mentioned bringing down the stele wall and the ghost who spoke to you during that little mini
Yeah.
encounter. That was fun.
Yeah.
I know it hurt me to break the stele, but I'm really glad that you did that understanding roll because it did help. It gave you some forewarning and really helped to contextualize what the problem was before you even got to the problem.
Yeah. And it also gave a chance to just be like, well, Marius is a big archaeology nerd. He's a big uh architecture nerd. But like he cares a lot about his friends. So if his friend accidentally ruined an important piece of archaeological history, his primary goal is going to be making sure his friends doing okay.
Yeah.
I mentioned it, but you weren't here. I was like, I really liked the part where it's just like, so like, if you knew who did this, hypothetically speaking, would you be bad? And Mara's like, no. And Cal's like, oh my god, okay,
Yeah.
good.
It took
I
him a minute to put two and two together on
yeah,
that
I
one.
felt like
Yeah.
the subtlety of that statement initially did go over Marius's head.
Yeah. It took a couple of them for him to be like, "Oh, I see."
Mm. But that's the beauty of that little exchange. I think that was perfect for both of your characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap up with some more specific questions here. One I always like to go with is who would you say most embodied their character today? Who exemplified their character today?
Mm.
I'm gonna vote for Angry Dr. Kalos.
God, yeah, I love it.
I kind of am too.
I
That was
love Angry
so
Dr.
much fun
Kalos.
and it was so perfect.
I loved it a lot.
Flatter me. You guys flatter me.
Love it.
Yeah. I can't choose between the two of you. That's unfair. That's actually really unfair. That's like a terrible question.
Yeah.
I do think that entire scene was like all of us performing our best. Like
Everybody
It was
at
just
their
so
worst is all the characters at their worst are the players performing at their best. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah,
I love
I am
fully
con-
scattered party time.
I am continuously impressed by how well the two of you role play. Like it's incredible to me. So
And you as well.
Yeah.
I feel like my role play has been a little more subdued than the rest of the parties. So like I just seeing the ways you guys come up with to make your characters shine and stand out like that is
Aw.
to me that's something I'm going to try and strive for more in both this game and my other games. And that's why I started, bringing aspects of this into my other characters. So,
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you do portray Doyle as being kind of a lower key personality, but also as being like extremely pragmatic, very, very curious, detrimentally curious. I think you do convey all these
Yeah.
things.
I think
detrimentally curious is like my
Yeah.
favorite character
Yeah.
trait.
Yeah.
that would make a
Detrimental.
great a great signature spell piece. Detrimental curiosity. No, but I think there's thefinitely truth in both of that. Donna and Kat, you do a great job expressing your character, verbally with roleplay, with conversation, with back and forth. And I think Doyle most expresses Doyle by action, doing things, taking decisive action, going on the scouting, walking straight up to the vines, throwing himself down a well alone with nobody noticing.
He needs to know. He
Yeah.
needs to know. And so he wanders out to observe and finds himself in predicaments where, he's at risk.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's wrap up here with a question I don't believe I've asked before, but is always fun. Good idea, bad idea. It's a good idea, what's a bad idea? Or both.
Good idea. Making friends with the people who were in the ruins who we helped.
Yeah.
Bad idea. Making best friends with the dead people and continuing to be their best friend forever and joining their dead army.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was say you ain't wrong.
Yeah. That's mine.
Good idea. Solving the maze at this point. What the fuck that was? Bad idea. Trusting Maud.
I agreed. Wholeheartedly agreed.
Or Maud.
I'm
Look,
fine with
You
it.
guys.
this is not Doyle's sentiment.
Right.
This is my sentiment.
Right.
I am suspicious by nature, and thus
Yes.
I've had so much fun playing Maud.
good idea. Good idea. Investing in more herbicide.
Oh, good
Mm.
idea.
Smart. That's actually a really good idea.
Bad idea. Molotovs in the maze.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Generally, any place that is dusty, not a place you want fire. And ruins
Yeah.
are notoriously dusty.
Yeah. Especially when they're covered in dried up vines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so some things to think about going into next week. With that, we are at the halfway mark, or the half-hour mark, just a little bit over on this after show, and I think that's a good time to call it because we all have places to be. Great discussion, once again. I definitely have my own GM insights that I'm going to be putting out on their heroic tier coming up, so keep an eye out on them throughout the week. And of course, the bite-sized tutorials will be coming out this week. They will. I need a mirror so I can tell myself they will be coming out this week. But I did not overextend myself as much this upcoming week as I did last week. So I'm going to be able to focus even more on the bite-sized tutorials and get those out and getting some more Patreon and Ko-fi posts out. Some more cool things to come on that front, really right where you are. So, take a look around, see if there's anything new. Okay, that's what we got. I say this every time, but it's true every time. I am so looking forward to next episode. Of course, this time it's going to be the finale, part 4 of our 4-parter. Yeah, super excited for it, but I hate to see it go. It's
But we love to watch it leave.
There you go. All right.
Yep.
Well, let's leave with that then. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you, audience and supporters, for being supportive. And again, stay healthy, stay happy, keep having fun out there, and keep checking back here for more RPGs Uncovered content. And big finale next week. Even more to come. Good night, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Heart tomatoes.
Oh.
Night.